Well, for our story this week, I thought we would do something a little bit different. Okay, up till now it's been all Dr. Seuss. I decided to do something by another writer today. I never heard of this book before a couple weeks ago. Miss Susan showed it to me. It's about a cat called Skippyjon Jones. Now, Skippyjon Jones is a Siamese cat. If you don't know, this is what a Siamese cat looks like. But Skippyjon Jones has a big imagination, and he likes to pretend to be things that he's not, more exciting things. And he's going to pretend today to be a Chihuahua. If you don't know what a Chihuahua is, they look like this. I don't know why Skippyjon Jones wants to pretend to be a Chihuahua, especially because a Chihuahua is a dog and he's a cat. But I thought this was a good story, so we're going to read it together. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Skippyjon Jones by Judy Shashner. Every morning, Skippyjon Jones woke up with the birds. And this did not please his mother at all. "Get yourself down here right now, Mr. Kitten Britches," ordered Mama Junebug Jones. "No self-respecting cat ever slept with a flock of birds," she scolded, "or ate worms, or flew, or did his laundry in Mrs. Doohickeys' bird bath." The lecture went on and on, as usual. "You've got some serious thinking before you leave this room, Mr. Fuzzy Pants," said his mother, "about just what it means to be a cat. Not a bird, not a mouse or a grouse, not a moose or a goose, not a rat or a bat. You need to think about just what it means to be a Siamese cat. And stay out of your closet," she added, closing the bedroom door. But once he was alone, Skippyjon Jones began to bounce, and bounce, and bounce on his big boy bed. "Oh, I'm Skippyjon Jones, and I bounce on my bed, and once or 6 times I land on my head." On his way down to earth from a gigantic big bounce, Skippyjon Jones shot past his bedroom mirror. "Holy guacamole!" exclaimed Skippyjon Jones. "What was that?" So he went again, and again it appeared. Then, using his very best Spanish accent, he said, "My ears are too big for my head. My head is too big for my body. I am not a Siamese cat. I am a Chihuahua." Back on land, Skippyjon Jones climbed into his toy box and rifled through some of his old junk. After he put on his mask and sword and climbed onto his mouse, Skippyjon Jones began to sing in a muy soft voice. "My name is Skippito Frisquito. I feel not a single pantito. My manners are mellow and sweet like the jello. I get the job done, yo sentido." Back in the kitchen, Jujubee, Isabel, and Jilly Boo Jones were helping Mama Junebug Jones make lunch. "Can Skippyjon come out of his room now?" asked Jujubee. "No," answered Mama Junebug Jones. "Mr. Fluffernutter is still thinking." In fact, Skippyjon wasn't thinking about being a Siamese cat at all. With a walk into his closet, his thoughts took him down a lonesome desert road, far, far away in old Mexico. Not long into his journey, a misterioso band of Chihuahuas appeared out of the dust. "Ay caramba! Who goes there?" asked Skippyjon Jones. "We go by the name of Los Chimichangas," growled Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones. "Who are you?" "I am El Skippito, the great sword fighter," said Skippyjon Jones. Then the smallest of the small ones spoke up. "Why the mosquito, dude?" asked Poquito Tito. "I go incognito," said Skippito. "Don't you like rice and beans?" asked Pidolito. "See, I love mice and beans," said Skippito. "He might be the dog of our dreams," whispered Rosalita. Perhaps, said Tia Mia, if he knows the secret password. Leaning toward Don Diego, El Skipito half sneezed, half spoke the secret password into the Chihuahua's very large ear. Ah, chupichu! Bless you, said Don Diego. Gracias, said Skipito. It is true, decreed Don Diego. Yip yippee yippito is the end of Alfredo Bozito. Skipito was here, we have nothing to fear. Adios to the bad Bobito. Then all the chimichangos went crazy loco. First, they had a fiesta. Then, they took a siesta. But after waking up, the chimichangos got down to serious business. Using his paw, Don Diego drew a picture in the sand of the great Bumbobito for Skipito to see. A hush grew over the chimichangos so great that one could hear a whisker drop. Alfredo Pozito, whispered the crowd. El blimpo Bumbobito bandito. Sí, said Poquito Tito. The bandito steals our frijoles. Not your beans, cried Skipito, outraged. Sí, Poquito continued. Red beans, black beans, Boston baked and blue. Cocoa coffee, kidney beans, pinto and jelly too. And now he comes for us, Poquito added. ¿Por qué? asked Skipito. Because we are full of the beans too. Then Don Diego stood tall and his most somber voice declared, Yo quiero frijoles. Huh? asked Skipito. Tito just wants his beans back, said Poquito Tito. And you are the dog for the job. Me? asked Skipito. Then all of the chimichangos turned toward Skipito, the great sword fighter. But poor Skipito had no time for a plan, because in the blink of an eye, a gigantic shadow darkened the landscape. The chimichangos scattered in all directions. Vamos, Skipito, or it is you the bandito will eat, they cried. Skipito stood his ground, but his legs shimmied and shook like the jello, and his teeth chattered like the castanets. Then, in a muy soft voice, he said, My name is Skipito Fresquito. I fear not a single bandito. Alfredo Bozito flew straight for Skipito, until the bean-eating bandito hovered only inches from the great sword fighter's face. Holy frijoles! cried Skipito as he thrust his sword in the air. Suddenly, went the bandito, landing on Skipito's sword. And quicker than one could say, Chihuahuas, cheese, and crackers, every kind of bean came spilling out of Alfredo Bozito, the Bumblebito bandito. Then all the doggies burst into song. Yip yippee yippito, our hero is El Skipito. He's a dog of our dreams who delivered the beans, and now we can make burritos. But back at home, there was such a ruckus coming from Skippyjon's room, Mama Junebug Jones and the girls just had to find out what was going on. They raced down the halls of the kitty boy's room. Panquito, Crashito, Papito, Skippito! Just in time to see Skippyjon's closet exploding. And out flew Candy, beanbag doggies, and the kitty boy, with his birthday piñata on his head. Skippyjon Jones! Everyone cried. Hola muchachitas, he said in a muy soft voice. Mama Junebug Jones lifted up Skippyjon and covered his head with furry purry kisses. What am I going to do with you, Mr. Cocoa Pugs? She scolded. That night, when he was supposed to be going to sleep, Skippyjon began to bounce on his big boy bed. Oh, I'm Skippyjon Jones with a mind of my own, and I bounce on my bed for hours. I know I'm a cat, but forget about that. Say goodnight, Skippyjon Jones, called his mama. Buenas noches, mis amigos, said Skippyjon Jones. Okay, so how was that? It was a little bit different. I like doing it because I like doing the voices for it. But, that was just something a little bit different. I hope you had some fun with it. And I hope that you're liking these story time videos. Drop me a note on WhatsApp. Let me know if you're liking them or not. And well, that's all the time we have for today. So have a good weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Take care.